All right, so to the stage for our next esports pro team session, we are welcoming from London United Chief Executive Oliver Weingarten for uniting professional esports, grassroots gaming and social purpose. Let's have a round of applause. I'll wait for the music to fade out.
Battle the t-shirts and caps today.
Yeah. Now, I'm so excited to have you here because, of course, you are the Chief Executive of London United. And this is a really exciting organisation, I think. You're doing lots of things that are very different in the esports space. So to begin with, for anybody who's not familiar, I'm sure that's no one here, but tell me a little bit about London United and why you felt the need to found it.
Okay, well, good afternoon, everyone. Pleasure to be here. For those of you that don't know about London United, we are a purpose-driven esports org. So we're trying to take a very different approach. We're not a performance-based organisation like you've just heard from Excel. We are uniting esports and gaming with promotion of healthy lifestyle and addressing social issues. We're providing talent with a grassroots path to pro. We're bringing in content creators, but I think what we've become synonymous with are the social issue campaigns that we've held, working with the Mayor of London, the Rio Ferdinand Foundation, and even staff's Digital Institute and a number of other universities and stakeholders.
So tell me a little bit more about that, because that commitment to social purpose is something that's really interesting that we don't see. Perhaps sometimes we see esports teams run an odd campaign or throw their name behind something, but you've actually integrated it into who you are as an organisation, what your purpose is in the esports scene. So tell me more about how practically that works day to day.
Well, practically day to day, everything we do, whether it's content, whether it's talking to talent, whether it's about sourcing talent, there's a purpose angle to it. They have to have the right values and align with us. But if I just take a little step back, I'm sorry, I'm looking at you, but I'm looking at the crowd at the same time.
No, go for it, of course.
I came from a traditional sports background, and I was at the Premier League and I was in Formula One, and one of those sports did legacy better than the other and developed grassroots talent better than the other. So I tried to take some learnings when I decided that I was going to go into this sector, which is, of course, a very explosive sector, exponential growth, all the stats. And I was like, how can I take a different approach, but how can there be some sort of legs there? How can we do things right? We've heard from Joe about the stigma attached to gaming just isn't there anymore. And everybody is playing video games, and everybody is seeing the top-tier esports players and aspires to get there. But how could we do something a little bit different and the right way with the right values? So as I said, everything we do, everyone we talk to, it's around purpose. We launched an NFT campaign last week. It was community-driven. It was social purpose-driven. And when we're working with stakeholders, we try and work out what is the issue that they're trying to address, how can they reach the demographic that cares about issues, and we put together campaigns. And we've held physical events pre-COVID, like Grime Against Knives at Lewisham Shopping Centre with P-Money, or a physical five-a-side football tournament with the charity Street League to address participation in sport with gaming. And then during COVID, we've just pivoted completely to digital, although we're about to have an event announcement in November, which will be a return to physical space. But essentially, that's what we do. We bring in talent, we bring in the stakeholders, we find the right esports angle, and we put it together.
And so, of course, you mentioned a couple of times the grassroots level. And I do think that, again, that's another big part of what London United is finding that talent, is creating that framework for bringing in people to esports. So for you, how does that work? How can we improve that? Because, I think I mentioned before, in the UK, one of the things I think is that we really do have the talent. We just struggle to bring them in, to catch them at the right point so that they see esports as a genuine, viable career choice.
Well, I think it's important that the talent, and it's not just London United, but any organisation is dealing with, that we deal with the talent in the right way. And safeguarding is a huge issue, and a lot of talent, let's say, have had bad experience, and that tarnishes the name of the industry. And we're seeing that at the moment with a couple of organisations where we've taken the talent into us. There is a conveyor belt talent, and I think it's all about how do you source the talent, how do you nurture, develop and educate it, and what opportunities are there for that talent. There's no point in just finding talent and not doing anything with them. It's really important that they understand the values of good sleep, good nutrition, not sitting in your ass 23 hours a day playing video games, and finding that right balance. And then, if we can't give them enough of an opportunity or the accessibility, well, hopefully we do the accessibility, but the opportunity might not be there. There are others there, and we actually had a Valorant player that got sold to a team in Spain called Heretics. So it was quite a nice endorsement of our model to be able to showcase that we found talent, we nurtured, developed, educated that talent, and it's got on to a bigger platform which we can't provide.
And of course, for a team called London United, you are very diverse. You do prioritise that. That is something that you care about when you are looking at this recruitment of this, expanding what the world of esports looks like. Who looks at an esports player, who looks at esports in general and thinks, I can do that, aren't you?
Yeah, well, again, Joe said esports isn't just for boys, and we don't have a female grassroots team yet. That's in the pipeline, but we have a number of female creators. Baffy, who is renowned as the biggest UK League of Legends creator, joined London United at the end of last month. We have a number of female creators, and we encourage them to talk about women in esports, toxicity, online abuse, and share their experiences and see if there are ways that we can improve.
And how do you protect them? Because obviously one of the things about being a woman or being anybody who's a kind of marginalised community within esports is that it's very easy to speak out. It's not so easy to deal with the fallout from it. So how do you, as you mentioned, kind of safeguarding, what do you do to make sure that when you bring these people in and give them that platform, that they're safe to speak out?
I think it depends on their age as well, whether they're a minor or not. We have a creator called Lauren who was on a panel with Heather Small of M People for our United Against Racism event, and Heather, as a black, high-profile singer, experienced a lot of racism, quite obviously, but not in an online environment. And she was comparing that to Lauren, who has got all these keyboard warriors trolling her. And Lauren said, I have to have a thick skin. And Heather was like, well, that's just outrageous. You shouldn't need to have a thick skin. So what we try and do is we try and protect them in respect of, is there a way that we could educate others? Is there a platform that you can utilize to help educate others? And sometimes we will respond to people and we'll just show them for what they are. And we'll bring it to the fore. And actually that's sometimes the best thing you can do, because the community then jumps in. One of the challenges I've had coming into esports is that toxicity is seen almost as a norm in some titles. And I couldn't understand that when one of my gamers said to me, well, I was being flamed, so I flamed them back. I said, well, that's not the right approach in our organisation. So it's an education, it's a journey.
No, and I'm excited to hear, for me, it's so important because that is a real problem with esports. The toxicity is relentless. There are titles where that's totally expected. And I do think that that's really holding us back. It's really holding back bringing in new talent. So I'm excited to see organisations building that into the foundation of the work that they do with new talent. Now, I understand you've got a clip for us, haven't you?
Yes, I think so.
So we're going to cue it up. Hopefully it's going to work, and we're going to have a clip from you. But just before it comes up, what's it about?
It's our sizzle reel.
Oh, it's your sizzle reel.
That shows what we've done in the past.
Nice. Okay, lovely. Right, hopefully that's coming.
Say. Yeah. This year I'm gonna go ghost. They say that I'm tough, but they tap the most. 16 bars, yeah, I rap the most. I got hit by the Holy Ghost. My friends lost hope, so I roll the boat from show to show. I spit my soul and get dough. Fake MCs can't hit my phone. My old friends don't know I'm in the home. No more Mr. Nice Guy. If you left me, better stay on that side. Mitchell boy had to get his cash right. Brixton Road to get to my mob ties. Never gave up, had to get my mind right. Yo, I'm repping for them low lights. Trust me, bro, I had some cold nights. Trust me, bro, I had some cold nights. Sorry, I got a flow that's dirty from early. Man, the bars been murky. Riding that bike like Taylor. Tricks, man, I got that flavor. Yo, I ain't got time for a hater. Man, match works on the road for the paper. They want beef, man, I see you later. It's the rise of the 130. And I got a flow that's dirty from early. Man, the bars been murky. Riding that bike like Taylor. BMX tricks, man, I got that flavor. Yo, I ain't got time for a hater. Man, match works on the road for the paper. You want beef, man, I see you later. It's the rise of the 100. I'm already a talk of the town. That build my name off grams on bootings. I'm known for the bars in bricks and Tulsa, Mitcham, Lane and Tooting. And I ain't gotta brag about the man them. S was known for the bootings. Me and SP doing them lootings. Man, I know that my past is foolish.
Oh, that's fantastic. It really captures the energy, doesn't it? The ambition, the excitement around your org. Now, I'm just going to finish up with one last question, and it's a big one. What is next for London United?
We've got a few things in the pipeline, some of which I'm happy to divulge and some of which you'll find about in due course. We are opening a Centre of Excellence. It's going to be the first purpose-driven Centre of Excellence in Camden. It's going to be a focal point of the community, a safe space for gamers. We're working with the mayor, with the council. It's about delivering safe space for gamers in respect of video games they want to play, but physical health, mental health, education, further employment opportunities. We have a couple of young Fortnite grassroots gamer announcements, which we're very excited about coming up. We will have an event with the Mayor of London at Samsung KX later this year, promoting health and well-being, and a couple of other things that I'm probably would get into trouble for talking about. But you see the QR code that is kindly put up on the screen. This is like, I'm going to say George in the audience has asked me to put it up. He needs to get some followers to the Twitter account. We've road tested this. Can you all point your cameras at the QR code and follow London United, please, and see if this works? Feel free to unfollow us if you want, but at least let's get George's numbers up.
Fantastic. Yeah, do feel free to do that. And of course, we've got a hashtag StackFest, so make sure you send out some tweets with that. But absolutely fantastic to have you. Just so excited to see what's next for you guys. So thank you for joining us here today. Huge round of applause if you're not in the middle of scanning the QR code for Oliver Weingarten.
Thanks.
Thank you.